This week in post, keeping noise in check while you're doing your processing. Hi everybody, I'm Scott Davenport. Welcome to In Post. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to dive right in and start talking about today's topic, which is keeping noise in check when you're working on a photo. I was working through one of the photos from my trip to Japan. I showed you some of this in the field earlier in the week. And I wanted to take one of these photos and go in a black and white direction. Now, my black and whites, I like to have a lot of contrast, a lot of detail, and just, really, this one I wanted all about the clouds, really punch this up. And you can see here I'm in on one, and I've added two different dynamic contrast filters. They look identical as far as the mask is concerned, but this second one is actually just for the upper part of the image. I didn't want to draw more attention to the foreground there. But originally, when I added these, I had them at full strength. And when the photo was, at this resolution, zoomed out at whatever it ends up being, 33, 35% or so forth, things looked okay. When I took a second look, zoomed in, I was introducing too much grain and too much noise. I'll show you what I mean. So you can see I have the opacity here of the first one at only 60%. This is for the entire photo overall. Let's just turn off, I'll keep the black and white. Actually, I'll turn off everything for now. You can see what this was looking like originally. And I want to zoom in at 100%. And this is perfect. We're just going to take a look at the sky here, right? So this is before dynamic contrast. This is after. I wanted to add in some punch. But originally, I had this up all the way. And video compression may battle me here, but it's starting to introduce little spots and little tiny dots there. Almost looks like film grain. And that's not a particular look I'm a big fan of. Occasionally, depends on the photo, but for my landscape work, I tend to want to have things pretty smooth for things like clouds and skies. I don't mind the contrast, but I want a little bit of drama, but not to a point where it gets noisy. So I backed off that strength. And then I had to do the same thing up here. If I add this one on top of it, actually let's do this so you can hopefully see this on the video. I'm going to crank this back up to 100 and this one back up to 100. So I'm doing a double shot on the sky here with contrast, and this may be much more visible. There is a lot of noise going on in here. So if I undo those sliders, we see that one undid this one. My second undo will be invisible, but it's reducing the opacity on my bottom layer. That's becoming more tolerable. It's a little bit of grain in there. For this type of shot, I was okay with that. So the tip here was really not to overdo the contrast, at least to the point where it's introducing too much noise. And if I hadn't zoomed in at 100%, I would have missed that. So finishing off the photo from there, I gave it the black and white treatment. And let me turn that on, and you can see film grain, I'm not adding anything at all. And tone, I'm not doing anything at all. I'd done all of my basic work previously. That's tend to be my workflow. I want to do my basics somewhere else, and then do my styling when I get into effects. So again, tip of the week, double check when you're adding a healthy amount of contrast, you're not adding in too much noise, at least to the point where you can't tolerate it. And for me, the balance was reducing the opacity, the strength of those filters for the sky, so I didn't introduce too much of that grain. And that's going to do it for this week in post. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, let me know somehow. Send in your photo questions. I'd love to hear from you. I love getting questions because they make me think about my photography. I'm almost certain going to learn something, and hopefully my answer will help you as well. We can all get better together. Until next time, my name's Scott Davenport. Happy shooting. Fuel the idea engine. Another infield or in-post infield. Infield. I'm now playing baseball. Those things just got to go. I never use it. Too many gadgets. Someday I'll get this thing cleaned up.